Buying your first CCW gun is an absolute thrill. There's nothing quite like pulling the trigger, no pun intended of course, after doing all of that research to find out which gun is best for you. But now that you've got your first gun, what's the next step? Don't worry, my name's Dustin with We the People Holsters, and we are here to help. Today we're going over our list of the top 5 things that every gun owner needs after they purchase their very first CCW. Let's get into it. Now, regardless if this is your first gun ever or quite frankly, just your first gun today, because I've been there too, if you need a holster for it, check us out at WeThePeopleHolsters.com. Not only do we have holsters, but we also have some awesome other stuff like banging t-shirts like this one right here. And the best part is all of our t-shirts are made from dirt to shirt in the United States of America. That means that they've never been anywhere but the US of A. Also, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel and clicking that little bell that's right next to the subscribe button so you can keep up to date with all the We the People Holsters content we got coming for you. All right, let's get into the actual video. Now, up first on our list of things that every gun owner should have, but especially new gun owners, is proper protective equipment, otherwise known as PPE. Now, listen, we get it. PPE, it's definitely not flashy or cool, but you know, you only get one set of eyes and only one set of ears, and believe it or not, no matter how careful you are, accidents do still happen. I mean, look at Scott from Kentucky Ballistics. Like, there's several examples of guys who followed all the rules and still ended up in some sort of bizarre situation where they got injured and or worse. Seriously guys, just wear your eyes and ears. It's that simple. When it comes to eye protection, it's pretty simple. I mean, there's a ton of different options out there from some really nice eye protection brands. However, even just a cheap set of plastic safety glasses that you can get from your local hardware store for like $4.99 is gonna do an adequate job of protecting your eyes in case of any incident. And before you ask, no, your aviators are not ANSI rated to protect your eyes. Sorry, Maverick. In terms of ears, there's a ton of options out there as well, ranging all the way from just a few dollars up to, quite honestly, a few $100. At their core, foam earplugs are gonna do literally everything you need them to do, especially at an outdoor range. These little foam earplugs work by just squishing down and sticking them in your ear, and they reduce the overall amount of sound coming into your ear, thus reducing how loud it is when, you know, the guy next to you shoots a 45. While these guys are the cheapest, they do muffle literally everything, so if you're at the range with a buddy, it can make conversation just a little bit harder. For me, I typically have a set of electronic ear protection on, usually over the ear earmuffs. Currently, my go-to is a set of Walker's Slim Game earmuffs with the electronic hearing protection in them, and I absolutely freaking love them. They amplify at lower decibels and they protect my hearing at the higher ones, you know, when a gunshot goes off, and it literally makes it perfect for going to the range and having a conversation with my buddy while also not risking the fact that I may never be able to hear again. More recently, I am seeing a lot of folks running an electronic earbud type similar to like the 6 Sauer GS Extreme 2.0s, although I don't have any experience with those. I've never used them. So Sig, if you're watching this, you wanna hook a guy up and slide in the DMs with a pair of electronic ear protection, I'm not gonna say no. Regardless here, folks, what's important is not so much the kind of hearing protection that you have on, but more so that you're doing something to protect your ears. You only get one set of ears, but once your hearing's gone, it's gone. Save your ears, invest in good hearing protection, and your wife will thank us later. Up next on our list of things that every gun owner should have is the correct ammunition for your firearm. Now, before you get all angry in the comments and hammer away a mean tweet like Trump, let me explain. The number one mistake that I see new firearm owners make when they buy their first handgun is assuming that all ammo is the same, right? That all 9mm is just gonna be the same and it works in a 9mm. And while that technically is true, what happens is they end up carrying a chamber full of FMJs. We actually just did a whole video on this stuff, which we can drop a link in the description if you're interested in that, and it goes over the differences between FMJs and hollow points. But the general principle here is that if you're carrying, you're gonna want a hollow point, right? Especially if it's in any sort of defensive purpose. Knowing the differences between ammo types and where to use them is key, not only to not killing your wallet, but also ensuring that should you ever, need to defend yourself, you can do so effectively without any risk of collateral damage. All right, guys and gals, smack dab in the middle of the list is going to be none other than a tactical belt. And if I could be maybe a little bit picky here, I would recommend a tactical belt from WeThePeopleHolsters.com. #shameless plug. Don't at me, it's my job, okay? Seriously though, if you're looking to carry your gun every single day, there's nothing more frustrating than a belt that sags when you clip your holster to it. It's not comfortable, doesn't keep the gun where it belongs, it's not fun. Furthermore, cheap belts can be floppy and they can actually impede the drawing of your firearm from its holster or cause you to fumble through that draw because it's not a smooth and consistent draw every time. And let's face it, nobody wants a fumble on the play. A tactical belt is not only going to keep your pants where they belong on your waist, but it's also going to ensure that your waistline doesn't sag from that additional weight of your handgun, especially if you carry something like an XDS because they're literal beefcakes. When it comes to tactical belts from We the People holsters, you have a few options. On one side, you're gonna have our tactical belt with the Talon buckle, which is this awesome belt made of 2 layers of scuba webbing, which is sewn right here in the USA and finished off, of course, with our in-house all metal Talon buckle that we make by ourselves. It's awesome and we love it, right? But on the flip side, for those of you who prefer maybe the finer things in life, you're more of a wine than a Bush Light kind of guy, then hey, we got you with our new Independence leather reinforced gun belt. It's a little bit of a mouthful, bear with me. It's gonna feature the same premium leather that we make our holsters out of, as well as a single layer of reinforcement inside of the belt to keep your pants and your CCW where they belong. And it's freaking awesome. I've been wearing mine for like a month and a half now and I absolutely love it. It's fantastic, just give it. It's important to note here that a good range bag doesn't need to be an expensive range bag. However, it is worth it to invest in quality equipment and you definitely get what you pay for to an extent. A good range bag is gonna have several compartments for you to do things like store your ammo or put your ear protection and your eye protection in and even have a spot for your firearm if you need it. It's also a great place to store things like spare change or maybe a couple dollars cash for targets or snacks if your range happens to offer those, spare clothes pins for hanging targets out there, and maybe even a spare mag or two if you intend to do some drills that require reloading or movement. Pro tip, practice your reloads, folks. You're gonna need that. Not only is a good range bag going to hold all of your goodies and make your range trip successful, but it's also gonna help you get all of that stuff from your truck to the shooting line. It's form and function, and I am all about that. It's my jam. If you're still with me, drop a comment down below on what you think the #1 thing on this list is, and I will wait. Okay, I waited long enough. All right, #1 on this list is, you guessed it, a holster from WeThePeopleHolsters.com. Outside of this being an obvious recommendation because it's kind of sort of what we do here, a quality holster for your CCW can make your life a lot more enjoyable. All of our holsters are gonna be made right here in the USA in our Las Vegas facility and are made from actual KYDEX, not some discount Chinese thermoplastic like some other guys out there. Furthermore, all of our holsters are actually molded for your specific gun. They're made on that gun so they fit that specific gun. There's no one-size-fits-all application here, folks. Plus, you can get them in a variety of colors and patterns and cool prints and whatever the hell you want if you want to throw a little pizzazz in there, right? Or if you're looking to, accent that fancy new leather belt you just picked up from us that we just talked about before, we do offer our Independence leather holsters, which looks and feels fan-freaking-tastic in the hand. They're awesome, and it matches your belt. It's pretty cool. What's one thing that you're picking up from this list? Let us know down in the comments section below, and as always, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. With that, my name's Dustin with We the People Holsters. We'll see you guys on the next one. Stay free, friends.